Everyone, thank you for reconvening. First, in answer to the burning question in the room, I will let you know that Sherry Mitchell will be here through the lunch hour. She's stepping out for a minute. She'll be back. So if anyone wanted to speak with her and didn't get a chance, if anyone wants a copy of her book, she will be bringing those in, and she will be here. We have a break a little later, and then we have lunch, and you'll be able to speak with her at more length. So that was very welcome news to me when I heard. So, in 2003, I had the honor of working with Callie Gurley, Holly Haywood, and Kari Wagner-Peck to create a short documentary featuring Martha Hall. Callie will offer a few words of introduction for the film. She is a special collections librarian here at UNE who for many years served as the curator of the Maine Women Writers Collection. Her leadership has been tremendously influential in shaping and deepening UNE's archival and general library resources and in building community. And she was instrumental in forging our relationship with Martha Hall. So I can't give Callie enough credit, really, to do justice. So I'm going to ask her to say a few words to introduce the film, and then we will get started. We may not have sufficient time for any discussion immediately after the film, but we're hoping that this will, we'll see how it goes. But if we don't, we will have discussion throughout the day, and folks can hold on to their questions and make connections. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen. Can I borrow your
Yes.
paper? Thank you. There you are, right there. Good morning. It's just so wonderful to see so many people here from outside of UNE and from inside of UNE. I just want to say a word about how much I learned from Martha and how unapologetic she was, believing so strongly that our collection could hold these works and that they needed to be here with us. And not necessarily for her legacy personally, but for the benefit of our healthcare system, for everyone, and for the benefit of the students who are studying in the healthcare programs at UNE, all the students, and the humanities too. And how amazing it was to sit in her home in 2003 and go through all the books with Martha and with Jennifer too. We sat there for many, many hours, crying for most of those hours, and it was just such an incredible experience to be with the creator of the works in this collection, and then to see them to be used so many times and in so many ways. I've never experienced a person who was so open and thoughtful about her own devastating illness. The straightforward, beautiful, thoughtful, skillful way in which Martha expressed herself through her work, so many aspects of her illness and her treatment, the family, her daughters, her perspectives of other people, and friends also suffering from cancer, and much, much more. So soon after Martha deposited her books with the Maine Women Writers Collection, which I just want to say an aside, because we were so well supported by the administration in supporting and funding our ability to acquire the collection, we decided that we wanted to interview her to attempt to capture something of what her work meant to her and how she hoped her work would benefit our students and our researchers. And so in 2003, we traveled to her home in Orr's Island, Maine, and it was just an amazing experience. So I hope you all enjoy the film. Thank you.
Everyone ready? I just wanted to say how moved I am that Martha Hall joined us at this conference. That's the way I feel at this moment, that she's here with us, and she brought her voice through her books, and she's part of our dialogue. And I'm struck by that. The beauty and the voice, and feeling enriched at this moment.
Thank you for that amazing observation. That is very moving to me. Thank you.
So I'm in no way affiliated with UNE or the medical professions other than being a patient and a client. So, hi all. I'm just a member of the community. And what I do is I write. I write a lot online, like legit writing, not just Facebook. And what struck me most about that video, about that woman, who I never knew existed until, half an hour ago, and I'm sad about that, is that I question a lot whether I am pursuing my medical care correctly, whether when I write about what I've experienced online, when I write about my feelings online, like real feelings, not internet feelings, that I'm doing it wrong. Like, I shouldn't be so public about what hurts. I shouldn't be so public about my areas of opportunity. And listening to that woman's story, seeing how her art is the healing art in storytelling that this conference is about, that the symposium is about. And I'm flipping doing it right. I'm not doing it wrong. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity. It's appreciated.
Thank you. So happy to hear that. Who else would like this? Miku.
Yeah, I just wanted to get some facts around this, some more like how many of her books do you have, and does the collection have books by women that are related in terms of they're dealing with life-threatening illness? This is beautiful. There are just the 4, so I'd really love to know what is that body of work that the collection has in possession at this time.
I could start that, but I think I'm really going to hand it off to the expert. Do you mind? Kathleen Miller is the curator of the collection and has been working with me, but really gets the credit for being on the front lines and thinking about ways to collect work that adds a sort of a larger community of texts. Martha's work creates a foundation for that, but can you say a few words about that?
So I think your first question, I don't know the exact number of books we have because Alan gave us a bunch of new books in the last year. So I think we had 15, and now I think we have more like in the 20s. You can see many of them on exhibit. At the end of the symposium, we're going to have a reception at the art gallery in the Ketchum Library, and those books are part of the collection, and a few of them we have on loan from Bowdoin College, which also has a lovely collection of Martha's work and her papers. So aside from Martha's work, we have Allison Cook Brown, who's another book artist who was a friend of Martha's. We have some of her work. She does things with the experience of cancer and being treated for cancer. And then we have a large collection of published works, which I can't quite name off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to, if anyone is interested and wants more information, I'm happy to talk more about about that, and it is an area we are actively collecting and really thinking about how to bring that aspect of work into what we collect, because it is obviously it's touches on something pretty important about the human experience. So it is, if you know of people who are writing in this kind of genre, I would love to know about them.
Thank you. And I would like to just say a couple quick things. One, yes, please talk to us at the Women Writers Collection if you have questions about this, if you want to come see the books, if you want to connect us with anyone else. When you came in, you might have seen our brochure sitting on the registration table, but you can also just go to UNE's website and go to the library page and find us there. And that way you can get in touch with us easily. And I also just wanted to, again, echo earlier this morning and thank and acknowledge Martha's husband, Alan Hall, who is here with us today, and we're very honored to have him here. And he has been, as I said this morning, incredibly supportive of our work in amplifying Martha's voice and building her collection. So it means a lot to us, and I'm grateful it does to you. Callie.
Thank you, and thanks for that.
Yeah. Okay, go.
Thank you. How's this? Oh, good. I just want to point out that there aren't a lot of people who are working in this genre of artist books. There may be an increasing number of people who are writing about storytelling, about their illness and about healing. But there aren't a lot of book artists who are really working in this subject, and that's kind of what this conference is all about, is encouraging and kind of modeling for people to do that, because it's a deeply, deeply personal and conflicted subject matter. So we'd like anything related to health. I would say there are not a lot of artist books that we have seen that are specifically within the subject of health. Lots and lots. I haven't seen a lot. That would be something worth looking at, but we would like to see more.
We have time for another comment maybe, and while people are thinking about whether you want to be that person, I'll just mention that and we have in our presence today an expert on this topic, Stella Balaki, who will be speaking this afternoon. And I hope everyone can stay long enough to hear her talk about her work on this exact question. So, Haley.
Thank you, and thanks to everyone who put on this conference and did work to gather Martha Hall's artist books. One thing that I felt while I was watching this is the power of art as resilience. When you're dealing with these very life-threatening illnesses, we often think that the resilience is to resist the illness and to survive past it. And while unfortunately Martha did not, I think there's a part of her, obviously, through this work that did survive. And I think it's really important, I think, in this conference and having this conference to have these ideas of resiliency traveling through art, traveling through these pieces of history. And we're so grateful to have the Maine Women's Writers Collection to be able to continue this legacy. So I really wanted to say thank you to everyone that I know Jennifer specifically works with the Maine Women Writers Collection and Legacy to give life to these women's stories, and I appreciate that massively. Thank you.
Coming from a former student, that means the world to me. Thank you, Haley. So I saw one hand over here before. We need to wrap up in about 1 minute. Do you still want to make your comment? Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to have us have a little break so we can have more caffeine.
Thank you very much. I couldn't help but think of a dear friend of mine who has 5th stage liver cancer, and she uses art, not exactly like Martha does, but she uses art actually to help her through the nauseousness from chemo, and it really works. She's extended her life by, probably at least 3 years, if not 4, beyond the diagnosis through art. She has lots of books and paintings, and she's had a little bit of an exhibit. And so I just want to, say that I think it's a natural thing actually to do when we are given permission to do it. And also there's a wonderful book, if you haven't heard of it, by Barbara Ganem. I think it's called Art, Healing, and Expressive Arts, Mind, Body, and Spirit. I can give you the exact name afterwards, but it's about this subject. So I think it's a wonderful way to help women's voices rise up. And I agree with what you said. I think her voice did rise up. And, it's not sometimes about the end of the illness. It's about the rising up of the voice that lives on. So thank you.
What amazing people you are. Thank you so much. I want to just wrap up by going back indeed to Hetty's initial comment to say thank you for pointing out that Martha really is here with us today on so many levels, and that we will continue to circle back to everything that's happened earlier in the day. And so if there are people who had observations or you have thoughts that are brewing, save them. There will be more opportunities for discussion all day. There is the gallery show this evening, the reception. You'll be able to see Martha's books then. And I'll wrap it up here and just say thank you for your attention. Please feel free to enjoy a break. We have 15 minutes before we will have our first panel of speakers. Thank you.